To make this lovely bag, did crochet the handle. I used my 40-pin SENTRO, and I did use a 5mm crochet hook, my Fiskars scissors, and a darning needle. Cast on with waste yarn. Go behind and in front of every pin to cast on to your 40-pin circular knitting machine. You should end behind the last white pin, feed it into the yarn holder, and down into your tensioner. You want to do at least 5 rows of waste yarn. Once you get to the last white pin, take the waste yarn and put it behind inside of the machine right before the black pin. For the green yarn, I am using Seafoam Green from Red Heart. Go ahead and put it into the yarn holder and into the tensioner. Make sure that the black pin catches that yarn. Once you've made sure it's in there, go slow for your first round. Make sure you've counted, your row counter was started at 0 when you put in the green yarn. And now you'll knit 105 rows. And you're going to do that 2 times to have 2 tubes. When you've done knitting both of your strips, place them on top of each other like a cross, right in the center. And I pinned them together here. You can see where I used my stitch marker to pin together the 4 corners on the side there. So one should be on the inside, one is on the outside. And then you're going to bring up the 2 sides like that. And you're going to do your best to line it up. So I'll do one side at a time. This is going to line it up here and see where stitches, and just try to line up. You can see where stitches are. You're just trying to line up every one for a general idea. It doesn't have to be perfect right now, but try to get as close as possible to the top. And once you get to the top, then you'll pin that side. So here I've got the stitch marker, and it is going to be a little bit off because one is on the inside of the other. So it's going to naturally be a little bit, one side's going to be a little bit longer seaming than the other. Just go ahead and pin those 2 up. Otherwise, you should be able to pin them up all the way without having to be too careful, but it sometimes helps if you go down as well. Again, you'll have your little X, so you can see one side's pinned. And you'll take this end here and you'll pin the tips there. And the only reason I lined it up was just to make sure they looked good on the side. So now you have 2, and go ahead and pin the other 2 sides here. Just making sure it's in the middle here. After this, after you're done pinning, grab your darning needle in a length of the same color yarn as you've knitted with, or whatever color you choose to use. I'm cutting about a foot worth of yarn. Darning needles, I'll link everything below. They come in this nice little metal pack. Screws and unscrews. It comes with, I think, like 10 different colored bent tip darning needles that are all pretty cute and colorful. It's just a great kit, and I use it all the time for all sorts of things. Love it. Definitely recommend it. We're going to seam this whole side, and then we're going to go to the other side, and you're going to seam this whole side. We'll start at the top here. Here's where the seam is, and don't worry about the edge. We'll do something about that later, but you can barely tell. This is where I seamed it down to the bottom here. Here it will be a little bit wavy because it's, you know, the same width of a tube inside another one, and then up, and then it connects up. You can barely see where it is, and all the way back up to the top here. Once we're done with that, then we have our secret little pocket in the inside, and we'll just seam one side of the pocket, or you can leave it open so that you have this secret little pocket for your wallet on the inside of your purse. Start at the tip. Okay, this is the opening of your purse. Turn it so that the opening is towards your sewing hand. In my case, it's my right hand. Put your hook in the top and down, catching those 2 on the inside. Now I don't have a spare string here to tie this end to. Again, you'll go in through top, from the top down. So what we'll have to do here, since we don't have a spare string or yarn end, you'll want to just tie it. Just make sure it's even enough. And we're going to tie this down here. Okay, so then we're going to go the opposite side now, where we started. The next 2 stitches. These 2 bars in the middle, down on your next 2 bars. So this creates that seamless join for your pieces. And you just want to make sure you're going down the same exact row and not accidentally flipping over the other side. It's so easy to catch a different row. And if you don't know, you just kind of look, see where the string is that you just made, which is right here. And then this is the row we're working on right here. You'll go through those 2 bars. Show you again. Here's the row we're working on, and here's the last one you just did. That means the next 2 bars are right here. So you're pulling 2 from one side and 2 from the other. Create this seamless join between the 2 tubes, and you'll see how it's nice and loose like that right now. And then when you pull down, it tightens it, and now you can't even tell barely where the seam is. So this is how I do blankets. This is how I do all things where I'm joining 2 sides together. When I do it with a shirt, it's a little different because it can get a little tight sometimes, but it actually works really well. And it's my favorite way to join 2 pieces together to make a seamless join. If you have any questions, just kind of pause and rewind to watch a little slower. Otherwise, you're going to continue around and I'll meet you down at the corner where it gets a little more dicey. Come to the last stitch right before I placed my stitch marker. Now go ahead and pull on the end and you can see it closing up like that, going so that this part here is gone. There we go. Not too tight because it will distort it. So just tug on it till exactly how you want it. Top here is a little bit of gap, and what we'll do there is weave that in a bit so that it closes up that little bit of a gap with this yarn in later. If you have that happen, it's not a problem. Just go back and use that yarn in to weave it in. We're here now where we put our stitch marker down at the base. This is where it gets a little bit of art piece more so than the science piece. And you kind of have to eyeball where it's going to go. Like I said, on the other side, it is going to bunch a little bit. Key is you're going to make sure that from this point to this point, you need to make sure all the stitches get inside there. Making sure that you can try to seam as much as you can, as straight as you can across the bottom. And what I actually end up doing is I'll take 2 of the stitches like that, and I'll continue grabbing 2 of the bars like that. So at the corner here, what I'm looking for is my last, where I last put my working yarn in, which is there. So it's right here, and I'm going to kind of curve it over the front here. Again, I'm going to reposition to make sure I am as even as I can be. So I'll reposition everything to make sure I'm going to have as straight of a purse as possible, and then it's going to look pretty good. You can see how I'm lining it all up. Now I think I'm pretty good with there, and I'm going to grab the next 2 bars. So the bottom part of the tube, you'll continue just doing the 2 bars like always. But if you only choose 2 of these, like 1 stitch, it's not exactly going to line up. You can count it. There's going to be more of these and less of these. So it's not going to be equal between the 2. You kind of have to, like on this side, make it look as cute as possible by grabbing maybe more here, but always the 2 here, and then maybe grab 3 and then 2 and 2 and 2 and then 3 and then 2. So however you like to do it, but you sometimes will have to grab more of these loops than you will on this side. I'll grab my 2. Now I'm going to grab 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 loops. And I'll grab 2. I'm just going to make sure it's where I want it to be, and I'll grab 3 or 2 and 2 and now 3. And that's just how I'm going to do it. And once I get to the middle, I will reevaluate. I lost my yarn here. I will reevaluate where I'm at and determine whether I need to maybe backtrack a bit and redo it to make it more even looking. Here at the other corner, again, I took out the stitch marker. We'll start from the top corner to line it up all the way down. I'll continue bottom tube the same 2 bars that I've been doing without any change there. So then I'll continue on with the 2 bars on the base and then start picking up 2 bars on the top part of the tubes. So I have 2 and then I pick up the 2, and you just want to rotate it to make sure you're getting the same 2 bars that you need to be getting from the same row and not twisting your row around. You can see that side I did a lot better of a job with making sure it's nice and straight, whereas this side's a little more of a twisted look. So I think my strategy of I basically did 2 and then I picked up 3, and then I did 2 and I picked up 3, and then I did 2 and I picked up 3, and then I picked up 3 and I picked up 3, and then I did 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and that pretty much lined it all the way up to the end. Continue till you get to the top here, seaming it. Let's go ahead and create our pocket now that you have all your sides seamed. Let's turn it inside out. You're going to do your secret pocket. You don't have to do this. You could just leave it open so that you have kind of an opening in the bottom. But I want mine to be more of like a pocket. And you're just going to grab for the first part from each. And that's going to be my initial tie off. So we're going to do the 2 bars. A little more even to where it needs to be. Grab those 2, and grab the 2 bars. And continue that all the way down so you have your little pocket. As you get near the end, just give it a little tug so that you make sure it's not pulling anything too tight. See how it's looking here? And I've got a little bit left to just seam together. The row I'm working on is actually hiding underneath here. So I'm going to reach underneath to grab the 2 bars that I need to grab. That's the last 2. And I'm just going to secure it here in the end and do another knot. And then I will weave in that end, right side out. Now the inside of your purse has this secret pocket for your wallet to hide inside when you're out and about. Go ahead and weave in all your ends. I want to suggest that we crochet the edge here. Now, not all of you might like crocheting or know how to crochet. You can skip this step if you'd like to, but I think crocheting the edge gives it a nice finish. I'll show you how in case you want it to. I won't make it too hard. It'll be pretty simple. Grab your yarn, don't cut it. Make a slip knot. So you wrap it around your finger like so. You take that loop that you still have and go in between the loop, pull up the working yarn, grab that, and so it should look like this now. So keep a hold of the yarn end and pull up, and you're going to tighten that, and that's going to be your slip knot. Grab your crochet hook. In this case, I'm using a 5mm crochet hook. This one's some furls. There are cheaper ones out there. Put the loop on the hook and pull down on the working end so that it's on your hook now. Don't make it too tight. You should be able to see a bit of a gap with it. Now you're going to put your crochet hook into any part of the top that you want to. I'm going to go ahead and put it here, this little, you can see where it kind of goes down a little bit. It's a little bit uneven. So I'll put that on the inside there. What you'll do next, the slip knot on the outside and then your hook on the inside. Go ahead and grab your yarn, and the way I like to do it is I just around my pinky finger, wrap it around, bring it up over my first finger while keeping it snug here, and then wrap it around my first finger. You're going to just have it here where it's being pinched and the tension is being controlled by my pinky and my ring finger. Reach over with your loop and grab the yarn and pull it through your purse. So now you have these 2, right? The one you just pulled through and the loop that was on your hook. And you're going to pull it all the way through the loop on your hook while you finagle your yarn through the loop on your hook. Reposition your yarn if you need to get it at the right tension you'd like. To chain 1, you will reach over with your hook, grab the yarn and pull it through the loop on your hook. That doesn't count as a stitch or anything. As you go through the same hole that you started in, pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops on your hook, and you're going to do your first single crochet. Just yarn over and pull through both loops. Now, if you need help on how to do this, I do have another video on crochet specifically that will show you how to do that slower in case you need a slower demonstration. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm just going to go through each of these stitches on the top, and I'm going to do a single crochet over each one to make the top look a little more finished and refined versus just kind of the ragged ends that it looks like when you do close a tube end. When you get to the last stitch, you'll see that you're back to where you started. You'll grab that first stitch, put your hook inside of it, pull the yarn through, and do what's called a slip stitch. Pull it all the way through the loop on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through. And that's going to be called fastening off. The key to making it a really nice edge with crochet is picking up every other stitch. I basically crocheted a single crochet, and then I skipped one of the rows or one of the stitches from the knitting tube. Then I did single crochet, skip, single crochet, skip, and single crochet. That's how I got it much more neat looking. And if you do every single one, crochet is a little bit bigger than these knitted ones. It won't look as good, especially with the 5mm crochet hook. If you use a smaller crochet hook, it'd be different. You just kind of got to go with what you're comfortable with and how your tension and everything looks. Let's work on the handle. Grab your crochet hook and your yarn, make a slip knot like we did before. Put your hook in there with a loose loop. This is the tension I have right now, you can see. Go ahead and chain 5. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. If you'd like your crochet strap to be wider, then do more, maybe 7. If you want it to be thinner, I wouldn't go less than 4. I'm doing, I think, what would look good with this purse. 5. Now turn it so that the back bumps are showing. Here's the back bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th is on your hook, just to give you an idea what it looks like. Next, you will put your hook into the back loop of the first chain after your crochet hook chain. So this one here is the one attached to your hook. You don't count that one. You go into the next chain. So put your hook into that back loop, yarn over and pull up a loop. There's one. Go into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 3 on your hook now. Go into the next one. Again, pull up a loop. Keep your tension loose, remember? And now finally go into the last one and pull up a loop. So now you should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 1. Now yarn over and pull through 2. And yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. And yarn over and pull through 2. That's what you should have now on your hook. What looks like a mess. Now this is the one that's attached to your hook here. So go into this vertical bar. You can see these vertical bars we've created. Go into that first vertical bar and pull up a loop. Go into the next vertical bar and pull up a loop. And then the next vertical bar, pull up a loop. And then the last one here on the edge, you can tell, go through that one and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 1 loop. And yarn over and go through 2 all the way back. Yarn over and go through 2. Yarn over and go through 2. And yarn over and go through 2. And that's going to be your strap. Now continue doing this all the way until you've made it the length that you want it to be. The way I'll do that is I'll basically test out as I'm crocheting it to how long I want it to be. The trick here is to remember to have one, you go through 1 loop at the end here, but then 2 all the way till you're making it back down. We also will single crochet along the edge of the strap to finish the edges of it a bit. Otherwise they look a little bit dangly sometimes. And other than that, this will take a little while. So just get through the strap to make it as long as you need it to be. When the strap is at the length you want it to be, chain 1. And you're going to single crochet into the top of these stitches here. The way we're going to do that is turn it so that you can kind of see the top of it. It's going to be kind of difficult, but put your hook through the first loop there. Try not to grab that bottom loop. Okay, and then grab that second loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook, and you're going to single crochet into that. And so you can see there where I've left that 3rd loop untouched to help prevent any sort of big gaps. Slide it onto the hook. That's 2. There's 3. There's 4. Okay, we're going to come to the corner, chain 1, and then start single crocheting into each of these. So it's the same thing. You want to pick up the 2 loops and not the 3rd one, which would be kind of difficult because of the way that these stitches are twisted. But you can see here where that 3rd loop is not picked up. So same thing, you're going to pick up that one, and right here it's twisted downwards. You have to grab that and put it onto your hook and do your single crochet. Continue doing that all the way down the side of your strap, and then to the other side, and then back up to this corner here where you'll slip stitch to the top, and that'll be your strap. And then we'll sew it onto your bag. I just sewed the handle right to the side, and here is the finished product. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your newly made purse. Yay!